Again, for anyone out there who doesn't know who I am, my name is Carl Sanfilippo. I'm the broker owner of the RE/MAX First in East Brunswick and owner of the RE/MAX First 2 in Cranford with my partner Olivier Lewis, who's the better dressed guy in the back than I am. So we do monthly trainings. Next month in October, we're going to be doing a training here again. I'm going to be doing the training. We're going to do the rolling 10, 5 or more techniques to generate more than 10 listings to carry at a time. Because as you know, as realtors, is carrying listings is half the battle in this business, and it's more competitive than ever to carry listings. And then in November, we're going to be having a training here. We're going to be bringing in from Canada a real estate coach, Peter Mueller. And Peter is going to be here speaking about profitability and team building. Because what happens is when you build teams, a lot of times that profitability piece isn't where you want it to be, and he's going to be there coaching us on how to run a very profitable real estate business. So keep an eye out for those. We'll definitely invite you all. And I just want to take a second and introduce we're going to start by introducing our panelists.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chopper Russo. I have a team. I'm out of Oakland, New Jersey. I work at RE/MAX Traditions Real Estate. I'm a broker associate. Everybody next to me are brokers, and God bless them. For me, that's adult daycare. It's not my gig. I have a team. I have an admin and 4 buyer's agents.
Good morning, everybody. This thing on? Test. I think it's
on. There we go. Beautiful. Got to press the on button, Chopper.
Too high-tech.
Adult daycare. Chopper, turn the mic on. Good morning, everybody. I'm Michael Napolitano, the broker of RE/MAX Edge in Brooklyn. Good morning. So I, too, had a team, and I still have a team office. We went from a very small team to a very large team now. We're about 40-some-odd agents this past year. So I have a pretty extensive operation department, so I'm going to talk a little bit about structure later on. So I've got director of sales, assistant director of sales, marketing director, transaction coordinator, and all that fun stuff. So anything else you want me to say?
That's perfect.
That's good?
Yeah,
all right, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Soha Fontaine, broker owner of RE/MAX on the Hudson in Hoboken. We have 17 agents right now, 1 transaction manager, and 1 admin. And thank you, Carl, for having us here today.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome, Mike. So we're going to start off. Mike, since you have the microphone, we'll let you start.
Sure.
First, what prompted you to get into real estate? What industry did you come from prior? How'd you get started? Walk us through your progression from Mike, the agent day one, to Mike, the agent now.
It's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short. So actually, I started off as a nightclub promoter. I was at college at 19 years old. Didn't plan on getting into real estate. My mentor actually booked a party for his daughter, and just somehow they asked me, hey, would you ever think about getting into real estate? And I got into real estate. That's the short of it. I was mentored in independent brokerage for 8 years, and then I decided to join RE/MAX. So I was an individual agent for a number of years, and I got stuck a couple of times. So I went from, I don't talk in sales, but I'm just talking money, so I apologize. So I started off individual agent, always got stuck at around 250,000, 300,000 GCI. Got up to about 510,000 GCI by myself, decided to hire an assistant. First assistant was a bad hire, so I fired that person, hired the right assistant, and then scaled my business from there. I went from 700,000 GCI. When I hired my first agent on my team, then that's when I hit $1,041,000 in GCI. To where I'm at today, and you're talking about profitability, the second year in the team actually was poor profitability. Second year, I hired 3 agents to work with me, hit $1,060,000 GCI, and took home only $82,000. So third year, brought on 8 agents, cut all the fat, made $1.8 million GCI. So I share the story with you today, actually, just to show you where I'm at today. We're way past that, but I've struggled just like you guys. I've been in the industry 19 years, went from an individual agent, hit a lot of roadblocks. And then finally, I'm here today. You know, I added 8 agents, and then finally I opened the brokerage, and we're at 45 agents today. So with a full operation.
That's perfect. We'll dig deeper into some of that.
Okay, great. Yeah.
There's a lot of good nuggets in there
Sorry.
that we'll unpack.
Okay, good.
throughout. But if you want to pass the mic to me, Soha.
Sure. I was in consulting business. I graduated with engineering degree from Cornell University, and I wanted to become a professor. I'm an immigrant in America, so coming in with the background of being an immigrant, you only have to become a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer in America. So sales was not anything on my destiny. I was not supposed to be a salesperson. I was supposed to be a professor and teach. And I was in a consulting company. Anyway, long story short, after graduating from college, I was working as a consultant at Ernst & Young, and then working for a startup company. And then, meanwhile, looking at everything else that is going on around us, I was very savvy in writing programs and writing, being in electrical engineering and computer science. Technology was the only thing I knew and I was really good at. When I was in Hoboken, I looked to see what are the other industries are doing in Hoboken, and I saw real estate, and I was like, okay, look at their website. About 15 years ago, there was no website that I could be proud of looking at that time. And I put together a mocking of a website, and I walked into one of those real estate offices. I told them, hey, look, you guys can benefit really from a great website at that time. And then they looked at it, and they looked at me, and they're like, really? Like, they really liked it was just a mocking. I didn't even build the whole site. And then they looked at it, and they said, oh, this is great. How much? And I told them some ridiculous number, I guess like almost $20,000, because I was just thinking I have to do IDX. At that time, there was no IDX. So I had just thinking all the back end, what am I supposed to do with it? And then they said, I said about $20,000, because I was thinking I have to outsource this part, that part. They said, they didn't blink. They were like really ready for me to go build that for them. And then I packed my bag. I went back home. I told my husband, this is ridiculous. These people are making so much money. They're ready to give me $20,000 for something that I really could do it really quickly. And why should I give it to them? And honestly, they were really I looked at them. They looked jaded. They really didn't understand what that technology meant for them. And then I told my husband, I'm going to go get my license. I'm going to be the agent, build that website for myself, and then just give it a shot. And that's the beginning of my story. That's how I turned to real estate. And then, what was the next part of the question? Sorry, I just keep going on and on. So
No, it's great showing the background.
There was a really I saw a niche there for myself that I could really shine, and I took the opportunity.
We're going to dig deeper, but that's great. Chopper?
In my previous life, as I like to say, I was a furniture manufacturer. I made French provincial furniture, the kind of stuff that people put plastic covers on. We had a factory in Union City, a factory in Sicily, in Catania, and a small place in Shanghai, China. We were very first generation. Demographics was our buyer. So between 9/11 and then the influx of furniture from China, we were no longer a niche. I was getting divorced. My brother's married with kids. So we had always bought the buildings in our area. I did my first rehab at 8 years old. Actually, out of college, if I didn't get distracted, I could have got my real estate license then, which that was 35 years ago. I got my reunion coming. I don't look that old, but
22.
Yeah, exactly. So I was doing a deal with some guys I'd bought property from, and wound up doing a Walgreens, Starbucks, and Columbia Savings Bank. So my friend that was a broker is like, I used to do things that, well, the statute of limitations are gone. I used to get paid for selling properties and run it through my business. So my guy's like, you better get a license, otherwise you might, I don't look good in an orange jumpsuit. So that was 10 years ago, and then I was still dabbling in the furniture, and I went legit 10 years ago, and eight years ago, May, I said, that's it. I remember I was standing up in a development by me in Oakland, and I got a call from North Carolina that I didn't get the job, and I said, heck it, I'm out of furniture. I'm doing real estate. And for me, it's always been fun. You learn something new every single day. When you think you know everything, you're in trouble. So that's how I got in there, accidentally on purpose.
Well, what I think is great about that is 3 completely different backgrounds before they got into the real estate business and were able to get to high levels and perform at a high level. So you have a Cornell engineer, a New York City nightclub promoter, and a furniture manufacturer. So that's what I love about this business. So, Chopper, what was some of the biggest challenges you had in your real estate career, and what are some of the biggest success in your career? And I'll preface this with after you got your license.
Well, I didn't know that my broker, he was ill. He passed on me, rest in peace. So he basically didn't train me. So it was more or less, I was like almost dumpster diving. I was jumping into everybody's files to see how to write contracts and stuff like that. I don't think DocuSign or Dotloop was created at the time. So I had to learn as I go. But I was always one, like from my furniture background, like when I went to the first Triple Play in Atlantic City, they're like, you're not excited. I said, I was one of the first exhibitors in here. In my lifetime, I did my first trade show at 8 years old, so I've been to conferences, close to 300 of them. But I always go to the conferences. Before they even had the C&E, I jumped into that because I was just like, a baby thrown in the water and said, swim. I had to kind of teach myself. That was one of the problems. I mean, success-wise, I mean, I love what I do. So, I mean, I've been making the numbers. If you're familiar with RE/MAX, our team, we've hit over diamond. We're on pace to hit over diamond. The problem.
What diamond is for people?
Oh, diamond's over $1 million GC. So, we did it in a short period of time. So, I mean, the nice thing is, but here's also the bad thing about our industry. It lacks professionalism. How can I come out of nowhere? They used to schlep furniture all around the world, okay, in some of the toughest neighborhoods in the United States and sell the kings and queens overseas. And I come into a mature industry, and I was like, this is easy. It's like taking, candy from a baby. Because unfortunately, the downside to our business is we lack professionalism. I agree. And that's, we'll probably hit upon later, but that's why like Purple Bricks and all those other schmucks are coming after our money. So, basically.
Mike, thanks, Chopper. Mike, what were some of your greatest successes and challenges?
This is like a comedy hour this morning. Right? You guys didn't know that Carl was going to pack this panel with all this fun. I would say the biggest challenge I mentioned before, as I scaled up the business, I thought it was big and bad, right? I hit $1 million, right? Less than 1% of the network. In fact, less it's like 0.025% of the network. Not just RE/MAX does ever make $1 million in gross commission income. So I got some coaching. I won't mention the coaches' names and everything. I respect them. But what's happened is be careful of the shiny object. Sometimes the coaches have ulterior motives to push you to buy more products and hire more people. Therefore, Carl is going to have that training program in November, which talks about profitability. So the biggest challenge I had was finally, after years of working really, really hard, I saw my profits go out the door, right? I won the award, right, the Diamond Award, and I was like, just to make it, I was the schmuck, right? Because I got the award, I got on stage, everyone just wants to know all my secrets, yet I'm barely breathing, right? It's just barely breathing. $82,000 in net profitability after generating $1,061,000 is actually to carry the following year of my company is just not a place to be. So even though I made $82,000, actually I probably lost money. So, but the biggest accomplishment is actually, though, to see this grow, to work through that, right, to actually close out my real estate team and then hit 1.8 with agents that were in the business for less than a year. Hit 1.8 GCI, and I felt like, wow, this was amazing. I'm going to bring this to now agents in the marketplace, because I feel like, unfortunately, there's not a lot of people like Carl and myself who are training their agents out there. So I decided to kind of step aside and go ahead and train agents. So I felt like that was a pretty big accomplishment for me to dig deep, stare. Almost, if you were in business, I might have been out of business completely, and that's what I felt my biggest accomplishment was in my career, just kind of going back from the big loss to a big one.
So you turn your biggest failure into your biggest success.
Yes.
That's awesome. Why are you so?
I absolutely love what I do, so I don't think anything that came on my way as being a top producer was too challenging, because I actually love the challenge. I feel like the challenges make us grow and learn more, and you just go beyond it, and it feels really awesome. But the biggest challenge that I had was exactly about 2 years ago, when my broker of 13 years in RE/MAX sold our company to a competitor. And it was a big shock, came out of nowhere, and I stood up and I actually bought the franchise. It was the toughest thing I did, because as a top producer, you don't care what the office does. As long as you get your check and everything gets processed, that's all you care for. The office is just for me to walk in, do what I want to do, and get out. So from that mentality now, I was like, whoa, what's going to happen to us? So I had to really stand up and take the torch, pick up the torch. And so that was the biggest challenge for me. And I had a lot of support sitting right here, thanks to Carl. And so I bought the franchise. And the biggest part of this whole thing was to change your hat from being a producer to become now someone who's going to have this office where it's going to be in harmony, and people come and they love coming to this space, especially even myself. How it's all came together, that was the biggest challenge for me. While I wanted to keep my status of a top producer. I love my clients, I love sales, that is where my passion is, and running an office was not my passion. So it was the biggest challenge, but the success that came out, I mean, what is making me feel really good about it today, sitting here after 2 years, is the environment that I put together. I love every one of my agents. We have 17 amazing people in our office that I'm proud of every one of them. I don't hire any bad energy into the office. They love being in the office because of the way we are hiring. And it's a love fest in our office, and we really, really cherish that. This it's like, sometimes it's like too much of a cheesy things that are going on, but still, we love it. We love cheesy. We love loving each other and loving our clients. So that's the office that we have put together, and that's what I'm very proud of.
And so, how to go off of that? I mean, you might not say it, but you have a very impressive resume. One of the top agents, not just in RE/MAX, but in New Jersey. Why are you willing to take your time to sit up here on stage? And we're going to get into it more, but give out some of your secrets and sort about your story.
Why am I here this morning?
Yeah, why are you willing to do this?
To be honest, and again, all the cheesiness aside, I respect you as a person, big time. I love what you're doing for the brand, and I truly believe RE/MAX agents are one of the most professional agents out there. And for you to have this, to put this together, if I can add a little bit to that, to your effort, I'm proud of that. And I will do that anytime for you. And seriously.
Your check's in the mail.
Yeah. Well, that would be nice too, but no, this is the check.
Thank you.
But honestly, if today, I've been to so many classes, I'm a student, as you all, I've been in school forever, and I never stopped, and I've been Mike Ferry's student for exactly 3 years, and follow Mike Ferry every step of the way. I know RE/MAX been a big Brian Buffini followers for the longest time, but I connected with Mike Ferry because it's all about business. I believe every one of us individually, especially for RE/MAX, I don't know why, is that the way people hired us or the way we got attracted to a RE/MAX brand, everybody has a very soft spot there for their clients. They love what they're doing. And that's why Brian Buffini is amazing. Everybody connects with him because he's all about taking care of your clients, that love festing. But Mike Ferry introduced me to being a businesswoman and really paying attention to every time I spend on doing anything, I question it. Is this time I'm spending is money producing, or I'm just being busy? So that is huge, and that's why I still am a big fan of Mike Ferry, and so that part of education, I guess, answers that part as well. Okay. But I'm here because that's what the question was. I'm sorry. I'm here because if I can share anything that I can share with you guys to make you more professional, and most importantly, to make you more efficient in what you're doing every day, I've done my job, and I'll be very happy for you guys. So that's why I'm here.
How about you, Nat? Michael?
Whoa. Well, first and foremost, I'm here. I really support what Carl is doing, training agents, because why would I do this for agents? I do believe our industry is going to get kicked in the mouth, and they've already been kicked in the mouth, right? One of the reasons being is that agents, unfortunately, first it starts with the broker, right? So you've got a broker here who is training his agents and being open to the community on our local marketplace, in your local marketplace. And it's something that I set out to do as a step aside of production to build my company. One of the interesting facts, so Zillow just put this out, right? One of the reasons why they just changed, you probably are freaking out, right? They changed to something called PA4. People who were buying these leads, they were not responding to leads, guys. They were not responding to leads. In fact, Zillow nurtured the leads, email the leads, text the leads, tries to connect an agent, and 75% of agents who are paying for leads don't pick up the phone. They don't, and they're paying for the leads. So you may say, where am I going with this? I think it starts with the broker. The broker training the agent saying, hey, guys, wake up. Hone in on your craft. Learn your craft. And I'm in support with what Carl is doing because it's something that I want to do for our local market. And I'm here today to, listen, I know Carl's got a bunch of questions to help you guys, to really help you guys figure it out because it's not easy. This is not easy, okay? So that's all I got. And keep it up, Carl.
How about you, Chop?
Well, first and foremost, I have to agree with everybody, what they said. Came here because of you. And listen, this is our career. I love what I do. And, I'm going to always give back. It's only going to help us going forward. Plus, sitting next to these two, I figure I'll pick up a couple ideas, Listen, I flew to Seattle twice to get to be here very quickly. I'm at, I guess our board is RealSource up in Waldwick. And there was some dude at this class called Certified Negotiation Expert. He's like, I came here to go to a play, this and that. I see an email next week that the guy that was there was the first master certified negotiation expert in the United States. So I was like, I pick up the phone, I call the guy who runs it. I said, anybody doing it in Jersey? He's like, no. I said, how long is it going to take? He says, probably 4 or 5 years. I said, how can I get it? He goes, come to Seattle. So I flew to Seattle first. I'd never been there. It was on my bucket list. But I always believe in education and then giving back. Like our whole group, our mantra, we're so involved in all the different nonprofits by us. We're always giving back. And I've learned a lot of things from sitting at these kind of events, But this is a career. It's not a part-time thing. I tease people. I said, we only work on days that end in Y and take the rest of the week off. But, you got to give it away to get it back. And, hopefully it helps somebody.
Can I just add to that for a second? Just to break the stride for a second.
Go.
I'm really messing up Carl. If you guys know Carl, I just messed him up, right? He's like, what? What's Mike going to say? No, sorry, Carl. No, but what I really want to say is this. I've seen Carl's trainings before, and who's tired of getting trained by trainers who has never sold real estate before? Who's tired of that, right? Okay, that's why I'm here. This group right here is all sold real estate, and Carl's bringing that to you. Okay, I'm tired of paying people, right? Because I've been there before. paying people thousands of dollars, and then I finally got the smelling salt and said, wait a minute, I'm listening to someone that's either a marginal agent at best or have never built a big business, and I'm tired of that nonsense. So Carl's bringing it to you. I've seen a lot of great trainings of his. I've watched his videos, so here.
Thank you. I didn't know that's where those questions were going to go, so thank you. But this is a two-part question. We'll start with you, Chopper. Are you more of a listing agent or buyer's agent? I really want to start digging deep now more into the business. Are you more of a listing agent or buyer's agent, and why? And I want to talk a little bit about lead generation. What are the top 5 activities you do to generate leads? How much money are you spending on some of your lead sources? And how much emphasis are you putting into your database? Because I'm always a big believer in every realtor should have a very strong database as a foundation to their business.
That's a lot of questions.
It is. If you need me to re-ask any of them.
All right, I'm on the listing side. From the day one, I've never put a listing in, uploaded a listing. I always had somebody to do that. But I always concentrated on the listings. And I always say this, and you can quote me. When I'm making a presentation to a seller, I said, New Jersey gets beaten up quite a bit, but one of the nice things is they let us represent the seller as well as the buyer. So then I give them the example, and I say, what's my job as a selling agent? Get you as much money as possible. If I take you across town to buy a new house, and I'm your buyer's agent, what's my job? Beat the living heck out of the listing agent to buy for as cheap as possible. That's why I created a team from the get-go. I was never a single agent. Always, actually, I had a partner in the beginning, but I always ran it like that, and it's been successful because I can separate church and state. Because how I can't see morally or physically how I could represent a client, the seller, and also at the same time simultaneously represent the buyer. So I've always been on the listing side, and that's why I have buyer's agents. As far as lead sources go, I have a very strong sphere of influence. I'm very involved in my community. My successes have been, I was one of the first ones to do every door direct mail. That even though it's been like 9 years, and it used to be 12 cents, and then they were up to 18.5 cents, and I fight with the post office every day. I'm like, I wish I could raise the price of houses like you raised this mail. Still to this day, because I was the first one to do it, I have people come up and go, oh, did you see so-and-so? They copied your ad. I said, yeah, those son of a guns, you know. So it's always good sometimes to be the first. Did Zillow. I did TV commercials, and that worked out good. I have a dog. He's passed, but he speaks in the commercial, and that worked really well. He got an award for the most comedic commercial. Doing a lot on Facebook now. As Knapp with Zillow, very involved, but as he had said, that's been a problem. And I've talked to Spencer, the guy, one of the founders, and so many of us don't return calls. I mean, I do a nice commercial business, and I'll tell you why. I return calls. Most commercial people, if you ever get on the commercial side, they're animals. They don't return calls or anything. I get more deals just because I pick up the phone. I mean, that's the way I was raised. Somebody leaves you a message, call them back. I know sometimes it's tedious, but like I did, I was so excited when they upgraded the iPhone where they transcribed the voicemail. I was like, this is fantastic. I don't have to listen to this whole story, you know. I do ask them to text me. But like I said, we're involved in the community. That's the lead sources, the listing. What else was in there?
No, that's good. And how much value you put into your database, which I think you touched on. It's big for you, your sphere, right?
Yeah. That phone over there has 10,948 contacts. Yeah. So.
And if you ever friend request Chopper on Facebook, you'll see how much he does for the community. And I can only imagine how many leads that generates for him.
Yeah, but it's funny. Somebody called me about that from another brand because I do the pet adoption. Oh, that's great. That'd be great for business. I said, listen, if you're doing it for that, everyone's going to see through it. I mean, I've always been involved in that. I was alumni chairman up at my high school and stuff. And then when they found out my gig was over after 12 years, they started jumping on me. Channel 77, our local cable, I found out I was chairman of the public events committee because I had no idea. The mayor just did it. So she says, you can't refuse me. I said, stop quoting my favorite movie, okay? So, did I cover everything?
That was great.
All right. I don't want to mess up.
I'm going to break up the flow. Soha, how about you? More on the listing or buyer side and the lead generation?
Listing agent. And the lead generation, there are the 5 you ask. Number one is a past client. I spend a lot of time on my past client. We touch them constantly. I must call at least 10 of them every day myself. And we do have a Thanksgiving pie that I used to deliver the pie, but right now I invite them to the office, and it's actually really nice because it works in our town. It's a small town. Everybody can stop, and then we can deliver. We can give them the pies, and all of my buyers agents are there as well. We all, greet them again. And it makes you call them many times that day, actually, and the day before to make sure they're coming. It's usually a 2-day event before the Thanksgiving. They can pick up. We order the nicest, most beautiful, and expensive pie in town, and so that they would stop by to pick it up. Excuse me. The other source of lead generation for us is open houses. We go all out for open houses. I have a lot of tricks that could be a class by itself. What do we do for our open houses? But we really try to capture our immediate houses, condos, everything within our open house location that day. So we get a lot of referrals out of the open houses. Zillow is, guys, until 2 years ago, I spent zero. I tell you, zero. I spent zero on anything. I don't believe anybody can do anything that we can do with our client. No outsourcing, no ghost admin, or they swear by admins, they do stuff for them. I don't even want anybody to touch my clients. If client calls, I have to pick up. If client calls, one of my buyer's agent has to pick up. We don't believe in scrubbing leads. We don't. Who's gonna listen? We spend so much, money being out there, and let me go back on Zillow again one more time. So I spend money on Zillow right now. And before it was proven to me that it actually can make me money, I was the biggest, are you guys crazy? Why are we paying these people? We can get our own leads ourselves. But unfortunately, back to the technology that I left it off 15 years ago when I joined the business, was that they are right in front of the client, and they're grabbing everybody. They're taking our listing away from us. I feel I'm slave to Zillow, but I make money. So because I make money, I'm spending money on Zillow. I'm spending $13,000 every month right now, which compared to the biggest competitor in town, they're spending $35,000 a month, $75,000 a month. I don't even know how much. But those are the people that at the end of the day, they build zero wealth because their personality style is they want to be out there. They want to be the biggest one out in the market. I don't care. I want my financial advisor to be the most proudest person I'd rather impress my financial advisor than any other soul on the planet. I don't care what they think about what car I drive, what shoe I wear, what bag I wear, whatever. I don't care what people really think, but I really care for my bank account, and that's what keeps me excited. So that's why I really don't spend money on anything, and never pay a penny for lead. Don't let anybody else do what you're supposed to be doing, because your value is you in front of your client. That's what I believe. So everything else, I'm sure.
So I know the answer to this, but I have to ask it. Have you ever door knocked?
Yes, I have.
Has that ever helped?
Yes, it has, big time. There was a story I told Carl. That's why he wants me to, I'm sure, tell that story. One way of lead generation, obviously, which is an old school, but it's a door knocking. And when I door knock, I dress up really well. I don't go there just I really pay attention to the whole thing. And I have a reason for that door knock. And I've done it 8 o'clock at night. I've done it Saturday morning. And I've been into buildings that I got kicked out of the building, like the security comes and, because what I do, I take all my flyers and I go to the 12th floor because these are condos in Hoboken and Jersey City. So I go to the top floor, to 12th floor. The doorman never stops you. When you're walking in dressed up, they think that you live in the building. I just go right in, get to the elevator, go to the 12th floor, and start knocking at every door because I have a listing in that building that is coming to market at Saturday, Sunday. Supposedly there's an open house, and that's what happened. So I knock at the door, and they open up, and they have no idea what I'm doing there. I apologize, and like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you at this time of the day, night, whenever, but I just wanted to tell you how excited I am about this open house we have this Saturday, Sunday. I want to invite you to the open house. Sometimes they think I'm the homeowner that is inviting them to the open house. By the time they figure it out, I already gave them my flyer, and I keep going. Now, if they're not home, I write a note on the flyer, and I put it under their door saying, oh, I'm so sorry I missed you today, but I would love to see you at my open house Saturday, Sunday. So I kept doing this, going from 12th floor, poor this doorman. He was called that I am in the building. He didn't know how to find me because I would never take the elevator. After my round is out, I go take the stairs going down. So he figured it out by the calls he was getting from the building, because apparently I knocked at the president's door, and he was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm leaving right now. I mean, so what, what are you going to say? So anyway, then the security finally caught up with me on the, 8th floor, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm inviting everybody to a broker open house. I'm so excited about this. And he was like, please leave the building right now before I call the police. I'm like, I don't know why you're going to be calling the police, but I don't want to bother you. I don't want to put your job jeopardize your job. So I just walked out. But everybody in that building got to know who's the hustler in that building. I got phone calls from it later on telling me, you know what, we want to list with you because nobody does this. Nobody has knocked at our door before. So,
and what I love about that story, that it doesn't take money. It just takes hard work and dedication. And I think that gets lost a lot in this industry right now, is that you don't have to spend. Sometimes you just got to work your tail off. And that's working your tail off. So when she told me that story, I was dying laughing because I was just picturing it. And it was almost like playing Pac-Man with the doorman. And I love that story. And one time I was with Soha in her office, her old office in Hoboken, and she told me that she just sold a property in Jersey Heights, which is really transitioning. And it was a Saturday at 3 o'clock, and as successful as she already is, she said, after I closed on this house, I went up and down the street door knocking. And I was so impressed to hear that, because sometimes at some levels people don't think that top producers are still doing the daily activities they need to be successful. And that's just a pure example of it. So I love that story. So I couldn't let you get out of here without telling it.
Sure, no problem.
What about you, Mike?
So had a pretty good balance, probably about 75% listing, 25% buyer side. How many people are tracking their numbers? Let's wake the crowd up. Raise your hand. Are you tracking your numbers? Are you tracking numbers? Guys, at the end of the day, one thing was told to me years back. So simple, right? And this is why I think you're hearing a lot of simple yet profound techniques here, right? So tracking your numbers. This business is a numbers game, guys. I can't tell you how many times I bumped into agents and they say, no, but my client's the best client ever, and I love this client, and I'm going to go to Starbucks, I'm going to dinner, and and then that client bought from someone else, right? So I get kicked around a few times, and I learned that it's a numbers game. And what's interesting is what we're teaching the agents now is that in Brooklyn, that's where I'm from, I didn't mention that before, and Staten Island, for sale by owners. How many people look on Zillow for sale by owners? Yes? I hope everybody, right? So between Brooklyn and Staten Island, we reverse engineered the commissions. And it's about $9 million in commissions on the streets. That's what I call it. See, you got a lot of rogue agents up here on the streets. And what I learned is that you got to keep calling those folks. Over 90% of those people are going to list with somebody. So we were big on FSBO and expired. Expired is the girl or guy who got their heart broken by their agent, right? So part of my listing techniques is really simplistic. Get on a dialer. I hope most of you guys are using a dialer, and just start dialing away. I'm not big into door knocking because I used to just get scared and sit in my car like, Should I do it? My broker told me to do it. And then I ring the doorbell and I run back in my car. I'm like, I hope they don't answer. Right? So how I broke that is I just hid in my office and just made phone calls all day. But all joking aside, that generated a lot of business, and I diversified my portfolio. Right, I hit the FSBOs, the expires, my Sphere, the buyer leads. We talked a lot about Zillow, Realtor.com, and spending about $300,000 a year on those platforms. Guys, Zillow controls 82% of all real estate related web traffic on mobile, 71% on desktop, so they're not going away. But as far as listing side, Carl, I was heavy on that, okay? And you guys should be as well. If you're not tracking the numbers, if you're not having enough conversations per day, you're not going to have business. It's actually somewhat of a simple formula. I think one of the biggest things, Carl, is fear-based, right? We're fearful of making those phone calls. And I promise you, if I had to ask Soha and Chopper, what they do, it's just make calls all day long. Guys, I'm sorry that this is not $1 million listing on Bravo. This is real life. You have to communicate with more customers. If you felt like you didn't have any appointments in that day or you didn't call, you're probably not having the most fruitful day. And that's just the biggest advice I can give. Did I answer everything?
No.
You said lead sources. We're good.
No, you're unpacking it. It's great.
Okay, cool.
And your Sphere and your database.
Yeah.
How important that is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll dive in later on to Zillow and how we respond and things of that nature. But it's please, yeah.
Of course.
One thing I ask everybody who joins my office to do first, this is their first homework. I don't hire the new agent if they don't do two homeworks, basically. Number one homework is to come to the office for the next meeting with their database of everybody they know. I tell them, honestly, database guys, look at it as your saving account. That is your saving account. The more people you put into that database, the more money you're going to get at the end of the year. And the statistics are 10% of the people you have in your database going to do a business with you that year, or they're going to refer you to somebody that year. So if you have 100 people in your database, you have to do 10 deals that year. Absolutely no way around it. You will do that if you treat that database correctly. So database is everything, and the new agent always has to come in with the database are the people, everybody they know in their life, the florist, the doctor, the dentist, the hairdresser, everybody, especially the new agent that they think they don't know many people, but they know it's at least 50 people. They have to come with that. And also the second homework for new agent that I give out is the vision board. The goal setting. They have to come back with their vision board and show me as silly and as challenging it can be for them, where they want to be in 5 years, 10 years, what is it in their mind? Because if they don't do those two homeworks, I don't hire them because they're not committed. They just say they want to do this. So
well, just to go
database is huge.
A little deeper on that. If I'm a brand new agent and I come to you with that database, what's the first action I should do?
After having your database?
Right.
Yes. So once you have your database, I'm going to ask you to, and I have the dialogue for it too. So you're going to be calling everybody on your database next day, and most probably from every 15 person, one is going to be a lead. One of them going to do every 15, and it's proven. I count everything. So on your database, I will ask you to give them a call and introduce yourself, and especially for the new agent, your biggest tool and what you have is your enthusiasm. If you are going to pick up the phone and not happy about making that call, don't make that call that day. Go and run and do something fun that day, then pick up the phone and call. But do call those people. The first 5 calls is going to be the most difficult one. Oh, it's so awkward. I sound like so salesy, and nobody wants salespeople. Like I don't want to sell them anything. Just get that out of your head. Who's better than you to call them? Because your heart is in the right place. You're there to give them a service that nobody else will give them, because you are the best. So pick up that phone and be really honest with your heart and your mind. Like I'm gonna find them the best thing out there in the market. I'm gonna sell their home for the best price. That's your mindset. And pick up the phone and making those calls. So enthusiasm.
I think that's good advice, not even for new agents, but experienced agents who haven't hit their database in a while. Is that enthusiasm making that call?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think agents get scared to reconnect.
Right. For the old, like if you've been in a business for a long time and you have a database of so many people, you just call and your first phone call is like apologizing. Hey, I'm really sorry. It's been a really long time, but I was thinking about you today. How is everything? You know, did you sell your home? Are you looking to move out? Has anything changed? And you will see that so much has changed in their life. And everybody moves because there is not enough space in their home anymore. So they need to move up.
Well, and to go on that, I know you've touched on this a little bit, Soha, but how important has education and training been to your success? What educational opportunities have you found along the way to help you?
I've been in school forever, but we don't know all the answers. And we don't know how to communicate with every different personality in the room. And if you are not learning that, if you are not going out and learning how to deal with everybody, you're only going to deal with, I would say, 1% of the people. You usually get gravitated to a person that is so much like yourself. So those are the only people you're going to go communicate with most of the time, because everybody else, oh, she's too snobby, or oh, this, they're everybody, like we judge people. As we look at around room, you judge people all the time. You're sizing them up. But by knowing how to deal with different personalities, then you become a much more versatile salesperson, and you can deal with a lot of people. And a lot more people in your database, 10% of that is money. Ka-ching, ka-ching. I mean, this is all about that. At the end of the day, you're making a lot of money just because of your education and how to deal with different people and how to communicate, how to convince them, right?
Yeah, no, I'm ready to go on door knock. I'm ready to go.
How would you do if you don't know how to do something? You need to go and learn it.
Yeah, no, definitely. How about, we'll pass it to you, Chopper. How about you? How important has education's been? How has it impacted your business?
Well, I touched upon it before. It always has been. Like, I was going for the credits before it was required by the state. I try to go outside the industry now. As you guys know, I flew out to San Diego to a 2.5-day event with Darren Hardy. Even from when I was a furniture manufacturer, I had a lot of salespeople that I trained, but I always tried to tell them you got to spend like 3 to 5% of your income in training every year. I know the state requires us, but there's also things to do outside from other industries to get a different perspective. Because sometimes we just get mired into everything real estate. And like Soha said, to deal with different people in different situations. So the event I went with Darren Hardy, there were 100 people from around the world there, and it was good. But I'm always learning. I got into doing CRS and this. I got more alphabet, more letters next to my name, But like when I first started, here's the best educational advice is stay away from the water cooler. It's nothing but doom and gloom. If I listened to all those people that were in my office, I wouldn't be up here, okay? I'd be selling something else. I just put, earplugs in and followed my own course, But I'm always learning. And I have my team members always learning. We have a coach, Look, we don't know it all. Once you think you know it all, I think you're in trouble, So I'm always been big on education.
Has the coach been a big impact on your business?
Yeah, talking about coaches, I started with Buffini, but they don't wake up early enough on the West Coast, so that didn't work out. And then I had Tom Ferry, and that was going great. And I had like the best coach, but Keller Williams bought him out or whatever, and he couldn't coach anymore. And I kind of outgrew the next guy. But I'm getting ready to do major advertising. I have my whole year laid out. And one of my competitors used the same thing, and I found out they were with Ferry, and I was like, that's it. And then I went to this little guy, I forget his name, but he was nice. But now I got Wayne, and Wayne's good because Wayne understands teams and stuff. Unfortunately for me, as I was growing, I was kind of outgrowing my coaches. Right. And I don't say that egotistically. It's just the way things are. But you know what? You learn something new every day. You got to be teachable. Yeah. If you're not teachable, you're going to... What do they say? If you don't change, you die. And so I'm always big on that. That's why I'm here. I picked up a couple of snippets already over here. Selfishly, I tell you the truth.
How about you, Mike?
So just to go back to coaching before, I said some pretty bold comments before. Being involved in those coaching programs, they did benefit me. I'm just saying be weary, that's all. I had some pretty good coaches, but as Chopper just mentioned, I was outgrown from the beginning from the coach from this other organization. I just don't want to mention their names to discredit them. But I had some good coaches along the way. So as far as educational tools, what's interesting to me is that we live in a day of an age of a thing called YouTube, right? I was watching something the other day. My wife asked me, she said, you don't even watch TV anymore. I said, watch YouTube. How many people watched Elon Musk smoke pot, right? But if you actually, even though that video went viral, if you watch 2 hours of that podcast with Joe Rogan, actually they talk about artificial intelligence and where we're at in today's society. So as everyone has been saying, outside the industry, you're kind of just staying in the know, and you don't even have to travel or outside your own car, your house, or your bathroom. And you can watch these videos. So there's so much free content, whether it's podcasts or YouTube or books. I mean, it's incredible. I'm still learning today. I promise you, I'm still looking at FSBO dialogue for the agents and even myself. I promise you, I'm still looking at Expire dialogue. You have to be a student of the game, as Soha mentioned, just always learning. So that's really been my biggest educational tools, is just kind of always looking outside. And another piece is masterminding. Guys, masterminding with live human beings. Stop the nonsense of looking at these Facebook groups. Find some people in these Facebook groups. Get offline. We're humans still, right? We're still humans. And that's actually, Carl, Chopper, Sohar. I mean, I've spoken to them quite a bit and learned quite a bit from them as well through kind of masterminding. So I think masterminding is a very big key. Always try to find somebody that's doing better than you. I never forget, years back I went to R4, right? I mean, RE/MAX has an incredible conference every year. And I remember meeting a guy, and I was not even anywhere near where he was at, and he told me how much he made. And he was like, yeah, I make $1 million, whatever, and I'm doing billboards and this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that will never work. I'll never get to that level. And I stood in touch with this guy and learned more and more and more. That connected me to more people. So I would say masterminding as well, Carl, is a big thing. So get out there, talk to more people. And even though you feel uncomfortable, wherever you're at, you're a brand new agent. Last thing, Carl, I remember when I joined RE/MAX, I was annoying. I went into that office and I asked every single agent, hey man, what's going on? So what are you doing over there? Hey, wait, what are you doing? Hey. And what's interesting is that I didn't care. They shared their secrets with me because they're not secrets, guys. It's all about execution. But I just needed to learn a little bit more about what they were doing. Just student in the game.
No, that's awesome, Mike. And rolling off of that, I want to talk a little bit about goal setting. I mean, how do you set your goal for yourself, your team, your office? How do you go about achieving the goals? Weekly, daily, monthly accountability?
Yeah, that's a big one. It's very deep. We don't have enough time for that, but I'll just give you the short. I start off with what Soha mentioned before, a vision board. I know it sounds cheesy, right? Putting something on a board. I did that Jim Carrey thing. I wrote myself a check, and it did come true. I didn't just rub the lamp. I just put a check. My first check that I ever wrote myself was like $275,000, and I says, I'm going to make that within 1 year. I looked at that check every single day, and within that year I made that money. It seems so silly and cheesy. It didn't just magically appear in my lap. I just was reminded of where I needed to go. So the stuff that I'm going to try to offer you today is keep it more simplistic versus writing a 100-page plan. I just keep it simple. Put the check up, look at every day, hey, I got to do more. I got to make more phone calls. So as far as accountability, you can dive really deep. You can get Excel sheets and all that other jazz. But before I had an admin and support, because most people, right, in this room are high Ds, right, driver personality, don't like to write things down. They write it on napkins and lose it, right? So either as Chopper mentioned before, find somebody that can help you with that. And if you don't have the money to help you with that, keep it simple, guys. Just write it down. How I keep people accountable in my office? Simple. If I give them leads, how many leads did you get? How many conversations did you have? Guys, simple numbers. How many conversations is probably one of the most biggest things that any of us up here, whether it's a broker, owner, an agent, you have to have more conversations. Talk to more people. More people equal more opportunity. Simple.
Great.
More?
No.
Yeah.
How about you, Chop? Goal setting.
We set up a 5-year plan. We go over it together collectively as a team, and then we break it down to annual minimum expectations. And then we meet quarterly. Actually, we're meeting tomorrow to see where everybody's at. Everyone has to be part of it. To go back to what Soha was saying about her office and culture, it's very important on a team, the culture that's set up. Because I am not tech savvy, I've gone through a lot of Generation X's, and I've had a few quit because I made them work too much. I'm sorry. If the key to success here is working. I'm not ashamed to work. It's not a dirty word, and for me, this is fun. But we set up the goals, and we try not. Like if you did $1 million, we're not going to turn around and say you got to do $4 million, but we do increase everyone's minimum expectations.
Cool. How about you, Soha?
A vision board is a big thing for us. I make everybody, including the admin, to have their vision board. And what we do with the vision board is only 8 by 11. So I ask everybody to print it out, have one in the office, one where you're doing your morning makeup, one in your coffee cabinet. Every time you open it, you can see what you really want to do. It has to be on top of mind. You can't ignore it. But I meet with everybody in my office quarterly to look at what their goal was, the goal we set from the beginning of the year, and where they are to reaching this goal, and maybe a little bit prioritizing what they're doing during the week in order to get to those goals if they're not there already. Personally, it sounds maybe a little bit weird, I don't know, maybe, but goals to me personally, I feel like goals is limiting me, or maybe because I'm not setting it high enough, maybe. No. So if I feel like if I am not tired by end of the day, if I'm not exhausted, I don't think I gave it all that day. So I feel bad. I just feel like I really have to give it all in order, like I have to be exhausted by end of the day to know I really did it all. So morning routine means a lot to me. I have to have done my calls. I have to have done my exercises. Everything that I go through the day, if I haven't done it, I feel really bad about it at the end of the night. So the next day I pick up. But what keeps me motivated all the time is really my own bank account. Sorry to be so superficial, but if I'm not making the money at the end of the month, it's just a big punch into my own. I have to pick it up and go. So
yeah. I'm like that too. I like doing the prospect in the morning.
Yep.
Get the stuff that weighs on you.
Yep.
You have to get done. Just do it and get it over with.
Exactly.
Right? That's all. Well, I want to go deep into this. Tell me about your first hire, because a lot of agents get stuck about hiring and making that first hire. And I always say a hire can make you or break you. It really can. So talk a little bit about your first hire. Also, talk about a little bit about the systems and stuff you use to run your business and your team.
Big question. I made a lot of mistakes, and it's okay to make a mistake because in the beginning, again, going back to the point, I don't want to pay for anything. I didn't want to pay for a good hire, perhaps. I was looking for somebody who can do what I'm asking them to do for $10 per hour. I found some few good people at that time that they were really desperate, but they were not excellent. And I came up with a hiring process for the admin. My first admin, I put an ad on Craigslist. And usually on Craigslist, I say, write a paragraph, tell me why you want to work for the very busy agent in Hoboken. And you receive 50 emails coming to you with a resume. But if they did not answer that, they didn't follow direction, basically, which said, write a paragraph, I deleted that email. So that goes who can actually follow direction. That was the first thing. But then I came up with a big process of the hiring. I'd be happy to share with anybody in this room. It's a long process. But I have an English test. I have a math test. If they can't put 2 and 2 together. Basically, I don't have any patience for not having a common sense. If they don't show common sense, they're fired immediately. and I only hire for one afternoon, then I say for 2 days, then for 2 weeks. There is a probation that goes on. And then if they are really good, I pay them right away. I raise their salary right away as well. So I love to keep the good people, but I fire really, really fast. I don't fall in love with them. You got to let them go.
What about any systems you use?
A lot of systems. Everything we talk about as Asana, right? Everything is a check. We have the entire list for everything that happens in the office, from the moment anything goes to contract, comes out of the contract. How do we end when we say goodbye to the client? What happens? Everything has a checklist. So, and those checklists has been written over and over by many different admins that I had. So it's a work in progress, guys. Don't ever think you can come up with, when everybody talks about system sounds nothing, especially if you're a new agent. What does system even mean? What do you mean by that? Don't get overwhelmed by that. Right. You're gonna get to it by little, because you have to do more in the shorter amount of time, so you don't wanna recreate the wheel. Therefore, you write it once and you use it over and over. So there is a lot of everything that we do has a system to it. That's why when you want to change an admin, it's not a big deal, because you're going to bring somebody who can follow the process, the checklist again, and it's easy to teach them that. And we learned that from McDonald's. We learned that from all the other businesses, that how they dumb down the entire process so anybody can just be plugged in and follow the process. But they have to have a very high C on a disc, Tony Robbins disc. So I can go on, but
thanks. No, it's good. I use Asana too. Live and die in it. It's great. And if you guys don't know what Asana is, Asana.com. It's free, right? Realtors love hearing that too. It's a free program. You can set templates up, checklists. You can have 15 other users on it. And our office uses it all the time for so many different projects. It's a great program. But Asana, A-S-A-N-A. Like I said, it's free. It's a great program. And I also couldn't agree more. Don't get overlost in systems. If you can't execute all the systems in the world, don't mean a thing if you can't execute, right? So it's really good advice. How about you?
One more thing.
Oh, sure.
And right now I pay my admin between $15 and $20 to $25. So depending on where they are. So I want to tell you where I came from, paying $10 and getting really crap for it. I'm sorry, but then now paying $20 to $25, and you get amazing people.
Yeah. Mike.
So first hire, you guys heard me mention before. After I got fully scaled up as an individual, I finally hired an assistant, and then I fired her after a few months because I realized this just wasn't for me. Guys, I'm not into the whole DISC profile. I did it before, and I didn't find success with it. So I'm just trying to give you realness. If it works for you, great. I like to ask questions when we hire folks. So I was very lucky enough to find my assistant. How we were able to scale that business is actually getting buy-in from that person. She started off as my assistant, and now she's the director of sales of our office 5.5 years later. So if you're starting a team, number one, they definitely have to not want to be in real estate. And that's the key, guys. Everybody wants to hire a real estate agent as their assistant. That's horrible. Because think about the personality. If your personality is not a system-oriented, because most real estate agents aren't, you need to find somebody the opposite of you. And that's what I found. So I knew I hired somebody who was really good when she came in and she says, "Where's your files?" And I handed her a black garbage bag filled with stuff. And I said, "Here, Joe, here's my files." And she says, "Are you effing kidding me?" Because it's Brooklyn. She said, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "How do you even run your business?" Long story short, within 2 weeks, we had color coordinated this, Excel spreadsheets for that. But what I want to say to you as we get into systems, because I don't really have much advice for you on hires, because I've had some pretty good hires and some pretty bad hires. But what I will say with systems is this. I see this woman writing on a yellow pad. I don't know where all of you guys are at in your business, but guys, start with a yellow pad first. Guys, you're going to listen to these systems, and I love these guys with Asana and Shmashana and Dotloop, Schmotloop. Okay, guys, here's the problem with new agents and marginal agents. They then think that they need to systematize everything, and they do. It's all fear-based because they're not lead generating, right? They'll go on Facebook. Oh, I gotta reach out and Facebook message 3 of my friends today, and then I'm going to log it into my CRM, but then not make more contacts. So I'm that rogue agent telling you, hey, start out, be disorganized. My yellow pads, I still have yellow pads today. It would actually probably make Carl twitch because Carl's like that super system guy. And I'm like, Carl, here, look at my yellow pad. Because I got scratch notes, ripped papers out.
I have plenty of yellow pads still. I'm a yellow
all right,
pad
cool.
guy,
Yeah, all right.
I don't twitch when I hear that.
Well, but no, all joking aside, let me simplify the two systems. Okay, Mojo Dialer, right? MojoSells.com. I get no money for saying that. Okay, that's my seller side. Okay, you have a CRM in there. Organize yourself. Write notes in there, and I'm serious. I do write notes in there. Right. That's my seller side lead generation. On the buy side, I use Boomtown. Okay, you have to have some CRM for a buyer nurture system, and quite frankly, that has worked tremendously for me. You have to start simple first, guys, because if you're going to over systematize, you will never get past marginal. And you will never get past new because you'll just be so busy trying to systematize everything and then have zero pay. So start out with a napkin, an index card, just make the next call. The systems will come later.
No, it's great. It's great advice.
I alluded to earlier when I started, I had a partner. And if you've never heard, a partnership is the only ship that doesn't float. I found myself that I was doing 98% of the work, and she was getting 50% of the revenue. So after that dissolved, we had kind of a team, and I started a new team. And my first hire was an admin. She worked out for a while, but tried to cross over into the real estate side, and it just kind of backfired. So what we've always done from day one is just like a list of the procedures, the processes, what A, B, and kept it kind of simple. I've had some good hires. It's kind of like stocks. I can tell you my good stocks, I don't remember the bad stocks. And I definitely know I have a lot more bad stocks than good stocks. But I've been fortunate that I've gotten them from some of my hires from internship. And along with that, we brought in different processes. But listen, I'm not a tech person, so I don't get too complicated in it. I mean, we use a CRM conversion. And that's what mostly we do on the buyer side. And on the listing side, it ties into conversion and some other things,
No, that's really good. Tell me a little bit about what your average day looks like. What do you do to get away from real estate? Because sometimes the problems as an agent is this business can feel like it's taken over your life. So what do you do to get away where you feel like you're not putting your business at risk?
How do I get away?
Yeah.
Well, I get up like 5:30 in the morning, so I usually get the first hour or so for myself. I just jump in the car, take a little ride. I live with my fiance, but I have my own house, so I'll hide out over there. I mean, from when I was, I like to travel. I was just down on a day-to-day basis. Turn that damn phone off. I'm going to Colombia next week, and I leave the phone with my admin. She waits for me on the tarmac to give it back. Her husband works for Anheuser-Busch, and he really appreciates me now because my phone bings a lot more than his, and now she appreciates him more. So I've helped their marriage, So.
All right. So we see what your day looks like, all right?
I mean, listen, I try to make everyone in my team take days off. I see when they're getting a little short with everybody, and we all need that. Yeah. They need to recharge. But Murphy's Law says, say you want to go in this business, you want to go away, that's when your business blows up. Right. So the first day of January, I go to the people at the front desk, and I say, I'm off for the rest of the year. And it's been working well for the last few years. But it's like, I was just going away, and somebody I was working on for 2.5 years, they called, and they needed me tomorrow. I'm like, yo, you kidding me? Yeah. So I don't freak out like I used to. If you control the dialogue and stuff, you can escape, and it's not the end of the world, and the sky ain't falling. I was down the shore from August 6th to the 7th of September. I only came up a couple times, and the sky didn't fall. And they looked at me, my nice tan. I said, "Oh, here's 8 listings, just in case you thought I was just chasing after seashells."
All right. Nap, how about you? What does your typical day, week look like away from real estate without worrying about the business?
I call you, Carl. No, all joking aside, the business over the 19 years, there's ebbs and flows. So honestly, the business has consumed me quite a bit from year over year. Right, it switches on and off. Because when I'm trying to do something really, really big, I go all in, and it could be like I'm working 364 days. That's just the realness. But when I'm at my highest production, I never forgot. People used to laugh at me in my office, my old office. I used to take off on Saturday, and I used to just shut my phone. Everybody knew that I was off on Saturday, and it's strange. It's bizarre that everyone in the office made comments. They says, is that for religious observance? And I was like, no, I'm taking a day off. Every week, everybody in the office and everybody needs to know that I'm off on Saturday. I'm serious. That worked for me quite a bit when I ramped up the business. I can't say that I do that right now because I'm in the midst of hyper growth. So I would say one other piece of advice is to be flexible. Because when I was chasing, like, okay, I'm going to be at the gym at 5. As you can see, I go to the gym a lot. No, but seriously, when I would say the key is be flexible, because the problem is once you're so rigid and say, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, is when you start losing your mind. And lastly, what's interesting, I learned that real estate time is 10:30, 11 o'clock, right? Most agents start their day at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I started waking up earlier and earlier and earlier. So I'm up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning. And if I can give you one piece of advice, until you start getting up that early, you're missing something, guys. And I promise you, remember, I was a nightclub promoter. I used to get home at 6 o'clock in the morning. So until you start waking up like Chop, who he says he regained his hour in the morning, I think that helps as well. So,
yeah, that's so true. My favorite hour is 5:30 to 6:30, right?
Wow. I'm not there yet. I can't get up that early. But I love to get up early in the morning, just not sooner than 5:45. But that is one of my goals, actually, to wake up earlier. A lot happens in the morning. Just the first part of the morning. By noon, pretty much everything should be done, because then I have to go, and I'm in the office to be a broker. So everything as far as the being agent side is concerned, I have to get it done early in the morning. But I do get to the gym, and I definitely, it's so important, especially as a listing agent, to be in contact with your sellers. These sellers, especially the ones that you took last week, they all need to hear from you. It's in the beginning of the whole process. The more they know that basically, I call them before they call me. And that's the only way it's done, is to give them a call early in the morning that I am on top of it. I'm going to get your home sold. And still, even though we haven't had any showings this week, but it's still like I'm on top of it. So it keeps them at ease. The first 2 weeks, the more that you are in touch with them, the more the business is going to be. They don't have to call you because you are on top of it. My typical day is usually, I still go to my photo shoots. I know everybody tells me, are you crazy? Are you still going to your photo shoots? Yes, I do. I enjoy that because every time I go there, I actually might meet another neighbor in the area. And I do my own CMAs, and I go to a listing appointment. That's a typical day, and you negotiate. So I used to go back again. For the first 3 years of real estate for me was complete hustling. I did not stop. I didn't take Saturday, Sunday off. Saturday, Sunday, I would actually do 2 open houses every day. Saturday, 2 open houses on Sunday. I knew the more I'm in front of the people, the more I'm going to impress them, and the more people I can put in my database. So the first 3 years was pure hustling. And after that, I made it to the top 10 agents of New Jersey. It was easy to get up there. And then after that was more growth. But I really did not stop. I'm a maniac. I'm a creature of habit. I love my habits, and I'm doing everything over and over and over and over, and it doesn't bother me because I see the bank account going up. And that keeps me motivated, and I just keep going and digging more and more, and I want to make it better every day. Thankfully, now I can tell you I do not work Saturday, Sunday. I'm so proud of myself. My kids love me now a lot more. And I really enjoy being with them. I don't even have to worry about the office. Everything I used to worry about where the next open house is going to be, who's going to cover that for me. Right now, everything is done by my admin. I have the phenomenal office admin, and my buyer's agents are amazing. I mean, there is nothing I really can go right now, and I had to actually take a couple of weeks off to help my mom with her surgery this summer, and I didn't miss a beat. It was fantastic. Nobody actually knew I'm out of the office because they never told anybody I'm gone, and I could call people back. So it all comes together if your heart is really into this business. So
that's great. And we only have a really couple questions left. Again, thank you guys. I mean, I picked up a lot of nuggets. I just wanted to know, this is something a lot of agents are dealing with right now on the list and buy side, is the market's very competitive, and we have tons of multiple offers, right? Something that's priced well, we're getting multiple offers. How do you guys handle or coach agents on handling multiple offer situations to get a leg up?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I always talk about how our company, our team, we're data driven. So I think one of the issues is that if you're just going to tell your buyer, hey, bring your offer up, market's hot, that's not going to help, right? Or, hey, they've got buyers, you better hurry up, act now. That's not going to help your buyers go up. It has to be data driven, and we're not going to run comps for the buyer. So what I've coached our agents, and it's worked quite a bit, is actually tell the buyer you might be overpaying for this house. And people are like, what? Yeah, tell them they might be overpaying because if they want this house enough, okay, they'll overpay for the house, right? And what I mean by that is how many people have the Zillow mortgage app in their phone? Probably not a lot. Usually it's the same question. I ask this question all the time. And the Zillow mortgage app, and you can have any mortgage app, by the way. I just like it because it toggles back and forth. And just gets that number per month, because what do most people care about? How much are they spending per month, right? So I keep that mortgage app in my pocket. I pull it out and say, hey, Chopper, I know you listen, this property is really, really competitive, and it looks like offers are going over asking price, and we're going to need to bring this offer up. But Mike, what do I need to do? I don't want to lose I don't want to overpay. Hey, Chopper, the reality is you're going to be overpaying. But let me just show you something. Let me ask you a question. I pull out that mortgage app and I say, hey, it looks like we're probably going to need to go another 10 or 15,000 up, right? But what that really means in a 30-year fixed is X. Are you willing to lose this house over $40 or $1 per day or $2 per day or $3 per day? When I break it down like that, okay, it also gut checks if that buyer is actually someone that is committed to buying as well. Because then sometimes they're like, well, yeah, I'm willing to lose it for $30 per month. And I'm like, really, dude? Really? Right? So ultimately, you have to, from the beginning, we don't have enough time up here, really be that data-driven agent from the jump. So this way, when I pull out that mortgage app, they already know, oh, Mike's going to hit me with more data, right? And that's kind of what I do, Carl. I don't try to get the emotional side, because some people are going to tell you to write a love letter to the seller. That doesn't work in Brooklyn. They burn it, right? Like, we don't really care how you met your wife, guy. So that's I've gotten those love letters, and I laughed at them. Like, oh, I moved from the West Coast, and I met Johnny. And I'm like, really? Nobody cares. Right? But in all seriousness, be data-driven. And I know Carl is this guy. This guy's like data maniac. You start being data-driven from the jump, whether it's the buyer or the seller. Well, let's go back to buyer. You're going to hit them. And on the seller side, when you're negotiating with the listing agent, oh, one more. Be kind to listing agents, guys. Yeah. Guys, I'm being dead serious. You're going to call a listing agent, and if you're calling Chopper up, okay, I could just tell. I didn't work with Chopper. If I call Chopper up and say, my buyer's super qualified, he's really good, And, but I can't understand. Chopper, these are super qualified buyers. They're like super qualified. And Chopper's like laughing, like, really? So what I'm saying is that, hey, and nobody likes when they say, Chopper, listen, you got your own deal on the table? You got your own deal on the table? Yeah, right, because guess why? See, most listing agents would tell you, you got your own deal on the table. So Chop, do I really even have a chance? Because then guess what happens? I just tricked Chopper because now I'm going to be like an animal when I talk to my buyer. They got their own deal on the table. Here's the data. Boom. You got it, guys. This is realness, and you don't believe it works. We're in the East Coast, guys. I know people are like, oh, well, Mike's maybe from the Midwest. No, this is how we do it over here. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to pass the mic.
That was really good, Mike. That was a great way to handle it. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to it, Soha, Chopper.
I'm too straight on this, and it cost me $4,000 on a deal recently. But I want to. No, I'll tell you seriously. Well, New Jersey MLS now requires you to give the seller's acknowledgement of receiving an offer, which I'm cool with. I have my own form. I did it before they made us do it. Because there's a lot of animals in this business. They're terrible. They're double-siders, and they're pigs about it. Somebody calls me and asks me if I got the other side. It's usually not me. It's somebody from my team. I tell them, yeah, we're in the game. I'm cool with it. When I have multiple bids and I'm the listing agent, I got a beautiful thing. My broker's in business 40 years. You'll get from me either a call, text, update on the MLS, do the multiple bids. Please send everything by Tuesday at 5 o'clock to my broker. I had 27 offers on a deal. So that means there's 26 people going to be mad that they didn't get it. They're going to blame it on her. It's like my most recent bride. I took her to an auction, and she's like, "Oh, I won the auction." I said, "No, you didn't win. You didn't win anything. You outbid the next person." But no, that's how.
No, really, it's good advice.
People get mad, but it's great for me because they get mad at Michelle, and she's very lovely, but they don't get mad at me and the dog. So that's how we handle it on that side. But the problem's been with these multiple bids, we're getting bids after the fact. So. And my broker is like, to the letter of law, I'm supposed to present. I mean, technically, we are supposed to present to the day we close. Okay? Once you're under contract, nobody's allowed on the property or in the property. But it doesn't matter. People could still put in bids. So I have a little issue myself with this whole bidding thing for in Jersey. I don't know if you have this issue. That if Tuesday at 5 o'clock, your best offer is supposed to be in, and somebody gets beaten up and they got sour grapes and then they come back Friday, I got to present it. I'm totally against that, but that's what they're telling me. And look, I'm a parochial school kid, this and that. Listen, my word is my bond. But I'm dealing with people in certain parts, especially Bergen County, that are animals that don't abide by this. And but if you ask me, yeah, I'll tell you if somebody in my team's in the hunt. As far as on the buy side, I counsel my buyer's agents because there is a court case presently in California. It's not here yet, where that love letter caused a discriminatory action and is a major lawsuit. Very quickly, gentleman was single, sent his picture in the letter, and then there was a family. Guess what? They picked the family, and the family was less money. So by putting that letter to your seller, put them into a discriminatory situation. How many times, where are they from? What do they look like? I said, I don't know. They ain't my buyers. I'm with you. I told you that from the beginning. So I, as a listing agent, do not forward those love letters because I don't want to put my clients in a negative discriminatory thing. But on the other hand, not everybody's like me. I tell my buyer's agent, yeah, you want to send a nice fluffy letter and, a basket of flowers, whatever you want to do to give you. But I also like to use the escalation clause. I don't think there's there's another thing. This is a Jersey thing. Some agents refuse to take it. But most of the agents I find that refuse to take it is because they're going to do you dirty. So, I mean, we're going through a little bit of transition time here with this bidding and this new ruling. As far as I do a lot in New Jersey MLS. I'm also Garden State and Monmouth Mommels. But that's some of the challenges I've had with this multiple bid thing.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's having challenges in this market with it. It's good.
If I could add just one more thing is, especially for the buyers, when you get them to place the bid, I think the best, what has worked for us is to have the buyer consultation meeting prior to start searching for the property and tell them exactly what's going to happen. And that's exactly what's going on. And that you do overpay. I like that. I don't say that usually, but I think we should just be very upfront about it and say, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to waive all the inspection. You're going to waive your inspection. You're going to waive your appraisal. You're going to go over the asking price by a certain amount, 5-6% perhaps, in order to get the home. And right there at the table, the guy usually says, no, I'm never going to go to a bidding war. Don't even get us into any bidding war. But then by the time they fall in love with it, they heard it at least once. So it's much easier to ask them to come up on their price. So you just have to prepare them, set expectations.
No, it's perfect. And Soha, sticking with you, what is your unique selling proposition? What sets you apart from the competition, especially when you're meeting with sellers and buyers?
It's really easy for me right now. It's my track record. It's really easy. But again, as a new agent, my best selling proposition was my enthusiasm. And it shows from the day before I'm supposed to meet them to the day after I meet them. Like remember, like I was meeting a seller one time, and he opened the door, and it was a staircase to get to his home. I ran up to meet him because I was so new, and I was a bit nervous at that time too. But I ran up to meet with him, and I shook his hand, and I was like, "I'm so excited to be here to sell your home for the maximum number that this market can give you." Blah blah blah, and then he was just like, wow, okay. So like that enthusiasm in the beginning really wins them all over. That's because, and I don't let that down even right now. Even I go there with a big track record. Nobody has sold more properties in Hoboken than I have. And here is the proof of it. And, it shows. And they usually heard of me at this point. So it's the easiest way for me to actually get those listings. But in the beginning, your enthusiasm is everything. Because you should be the biggest heart, the biggest smile, have that energy. And actually, it's something I share with my new agents right now. Have you guys noticed when you go to valet your car anywhere, restaurant, hotel, anywhere you go to valet your car, have you noticed a valet car always runs to you? They don't have to run. They can walk over and get your keys from you. But they always run. Because they want to show you your time is important. We're so happy that you are here. Oh my God, let me get you to this, you must be very hungry right now. I don't know, let me get your bag. So every service business, there is something amazing in there for us to learn. And if we can learn all those little things that they do, it sets us apart from anybody else in the market. So when I pick up a client from the path to go take them around, as a buyer agent, when I was showing them a lot of homes, I would get out of my car, even though there was cars behind me. I would get out of my car, go and meet everybody. They brought mom and dad, and everybody was coming because we have a demographic that is millennial. They don't buy anything without parents or aunts or uncle. So the whole family shows up. I would get out of my car, shake everybody's hand, sit in the car, and I would run with the big arm. And I never have seen these people before in my life. But that would set me apart from everybody else that just pulled a car. Hey, guys, come on in. Let's go shopping. No. You set yourself apart, and that's your enthusiasm. Don't let that go down. And it's also in the listing appointment the same way. Your listing appointment, your energy level falls throughout this listing appointment, you lost them. Yeah, because they don't want to work with the losers. They don't want to work with somebody who's sad. They don't want to work with somebody who's not happy about doing what they're doing. And that's something I learned from my cleaning lady, actually. One day, my cleaning lady was coming, and I was just cleaning up before she gets there. And then, because if I don't pick up everything from the boys and everything, then she can't really clean. And then she walked in, and I'm like, Teresa, I'm really sorry. Today the house is a mess. She just looked at me and was like, I love my job so hard. The messier it is, the happier I am. I love cleaning up. And I was like, wow, I love her. I mean, I've been with her for more than 10 years. Even if she breaks something, I still love her. Because I know she really loves to do what she's doing. So Sunday afternoon, after my open house, I go to a listing appointment, and they have the whole family is together, the barbecue is running, they're opening a bottle of wine. Would you like a glass, Soha? No, thank you. I got to go home too, my family home. But of course, I'm happy, and I'm sitting, and they felt kind of sorry for me. They're like, so sorry, after Sunday afternoon, you're here. and you should be with your family. I was like, are you guys kidding me? I'm excited to be here. This is the best thing, the best part of my day, to be here sitting with you guys. Let's get to work. Let's see what we should price and how we can get you guys out of this home. So I showed that enthusiasm that my cleaning lady showed me to them. They were like, wow, she really loves her job. We want to give it to her. So we are in the service business. If it's beyond you, if you don't want to service people, you shouldn't be doing this. I know there is a lot of systems and process and all the stuff that we're talking about. At the end of the day, you got to listen to yourself. Do I really want to do this? Or somebody said, go become a real estate agent. Because if something happens tomorrow to you, you will be like, this is not for me. This is not for me. Because your heart is not in it. Because you don't want to do the work. So if your heart is in it, it's going to be a breeze really moving forward. And congratulations for you to be sitting on those seats. And with 2 weeks of, we get this degree in 2 weeks. One state test and you're a real estate agent, but there is a potential of making millions of dollars. I mean, come on, guys. We're the luckiest people in this room to be able to do that. The surgeons and doctors don't make the money that we're making. And that's thanks to America. This was my finale speech, by the way.
I've heard that question asked a lot. That might be one of the best answers I heard. The enthusiasm. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a hard follow-up. So, all joking aside, it actually comes down to what pretty much Soha was saying, enthusiasm and just hard work. I work my face off, guys. As I said, growing the brokerage where I'm at today, it's hard work. One of the challenges I see that most new agents, marginal agents have is that they might have heard Soha say before that she takes the weekends off. And then you guys get super excited. You're like, how can I? Maybe that's what I should do so this way I can get more business. The truth of the matter is I've never met anybody that have scaled their business in this industry without working 6-7 days a week, guys. This is the harsh reality. So, but the hard work is this. Pick up your call like Chopper said. Pick up the phone, as Chopper said, and just be nice to people. I'm being so serious. I'm going to give you just one situation. I went to a listing presentation some time ago in a very high price point market. And I walked in, and here's what I said. I said, I'm probably not the agent you're looking for. And their face just like dropped because they had 2 listings to give me over $1 million each. And you know what I told them? I was honest. I said, you know what? Here's my value proposition. I'm going to beep this out, guys. I'm going to work my ass off, okay? Because the other agents who are already here, they're not going to work as hard as I am, and I am going to work 24/7, 365. And I know that sometimes coaches will say, that's a horrible thing to tell people because you should have your days off. When you're brand new, you're trying to scale your business, or if you're marginally trying to scale your business, sorry guys, wrong business, okay? If you're opening a bakery or a restaurant, these folks are working 24/7, 365. Guess what, guys? You are entrepreneurs. You're not going to get away with no hard work. So when you see somebody who's got leverage, who has assistants, okay, they didn't get there without putting the hard work there first. I'm giving you the realness. So I would say my value prop, Carl, is even today with the brokerage, I'm still working real hard. I call Carl sometimes at 10 o'clock at night just because I'm just leaving the office and I need therapy. But seriously, I'm working working really hard, and that's my value proposition.
No, that's great.
When I went to Marquette University, in our dorm, we had a priest that had the mass, and he was like a legal clown. I forget what he was. He passed recently. Great guy. But he used to give out a card that said, we rarely succeed unless we have fun doing it. And it's always been my mantra. And I think it comes across when I'm meeting with my clients because I have a good time. I enjoy it. If it's no fun, get out. I see enough mopey people in our business. As far as my value proposition, I have the numbers to back me up. In the beginning, like all of us, we all have our first day. In fact, I'd rather deal with an agent that just started than one of these prima donnas. I've been doing this 24 hours. I said, well, if you missed out, Al Gore invented the internet, and we use like these apps and things, and it would help you. Because I don't care how many years you're in it. It's if you don't like it, get out. And the enthusiasm, as everyone has said, you know, look, good positive attitude. Be a great listener. God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth, you know, use it proportionately. I have fun. And my bottom line to everybody is, I don't know if you ever saw my ads, I advertise with my dog. I'm like, the dog got to eat, and that's why I'm here, you know. So this is great, and I want to, oh, by the way, talking about vision boards, Soha and I, we were at R4, and she got a medallion, one of the top 100 agents in the world. I took a picture of that, and that's on my vision board. Just want to let you know. Next to my terrible sketch of me and my girl on a private island that I intend to buy down the road. And you're all invited. Bring your jet skis.
No, that's awesome. Guys, really, I just got one last question. Before I ask the question, I really just want to thank you guys again. Like, it's really, like, it means a lot to me that you would take your time out to do this. And the last question I really have for each of you is, what advice would you offer to everyone in the audience today? You've already offered a lot of advice, but what's the one thing you really want to offer the audience?
I've said it many times. Enjoy what you do. Make it fun. You know? Anybody asks me, how's my day? Having a great day. And it's not bullshit. Some days are just better than others. Today's a great day. I expect tomorrow to be. Listen, happiness is wherever your feet are at. You know? There's no poison pill. Somebody brought Tic Tacs to one of these and goes, here's the answer. Take this pill and you're going to make zillions of dollars. Listen, I was told when I started by my broker, may he rest in peace, there's no limit on the amount of money that we can make. You know, have fun doing it. It's work, you know. If it was so easy, everybody be, you know. Look, like I tell everybody, if all the promises ever made to me, I would roll up in a nice new red Ferrari. So, you know, promises don't go in the bank.
That wasn't yours outside?
No. I got the rental.
I mean, it's what we said before. It really comes down to hard work. Like I said, I went from individual, team, then to brokerage. Each level up, I just worked my face off. Seriously, that's the best advice I can give you. Keep it simple, be flexible, and again, just work. These are some of the core things. It seems so simple, and then actually to Chopper's point, I just want to say it again: don't fall for the next shiny penny. Stop falling for the Facebook ad that says, cold calling is dead. Try this. You're going to make $1 million if you take that. Because I fell for those traps in the past, and I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on these traps, only to find out that I needed to call more people. Call more people. Because here's the problem, guys. When you even put those ads out there, like Facebook ads and things of that nature, you still have to talk to a human being. So if you can't talk to a human being, you will not win in this game. So hard work is paramount, Carl. I mean, that's what you hear up here. And I know some agents, I don't really see it in this crowd, but I've seen it on panels before where people have walked out of the room because they just don't like the simplicity, because they think it's, what does Mike know? I'm going to throw a couple of Instagram ads up, and I'm going to look good. I know of an agent actually out in this marketplace who throws a lot of Instagrams up, and they've got like Bentleys parked outside. And I check their transactions, and they don't have a lot of transactions because still people are not buying off Instagram. It's just a branding piece. Keep it simple, hard work, talk to more people. Call all people all the time. Call back all the time. It's like brainwashing, right? Seriously. Because when you guys walk out of here, you say, what was Mike, Chopper, and Soha talking about? Guys, if you can just listen to all three of us, I'm serious, you will make more money.
A little bit of a philosophy, I guess. One thing I want you guys to leave, to take away today is like, really, this is what I come to every time. Life is a series of habits. Fill your days up with great habits. If you do it for 21 days in a row, I bet with you some bad habits will leave your daily routines. So I am the example of how easy this job can actually be. Only if you can be boring a little bit and repeat exactly the same simple things over and over and over and over. What is Mike Ferry calls it, the repetition boredom. memorize those scripts, to when you have the sellers giving you any objection, really there is not that many objections out there. There's maybe 7 or 8 of them. How simple is it to learn how to deal with all those objections? And then you can win every time. So really, life is a series of habits. Just look at your own day. Every day you're doing exact same things. For 21 days, commit to doing it a specific way. How to do it like a top producer. Top producers does it. Just do it for 21 days. They have nothing to lose and a lot to gain. And then it's going to just happen over and over and over. So that's all I want you to leave with. Good habits.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, we're pretty much running out of time. So again, I just want to say thank you to everybody. We'll be around, sticking around. But thanks, everyone, for coming.